What is up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about a few little problems I've had over the last week or so. I had a trigger the other night. I've not had a trigger for ages, but you get it when you're a recovering addict, and that's what I do on this channel. I talk about drugs, recovery, prison, all that sort of stuff. So I was out yesterday and I was on my bike because I like to get a little bit of a, go out when I can on the bike, clear my head, get a bit of exercise. And I was going past the Doncaster town centre flats, and there was just police everywhere, ambulances everywhere, which is normal in Doncaster. And I thought, I'll video it, see if what happens. And as I was videoing it, there was a woman sat on the bench screaming and shouting, saying, "I hope you fucking die," and all this. I thought, Jesus. And then some dude starts hanging out the window shouting, "Oh, you fucking smackhead," calling his mum a smackhead, and like flexing that he'd just been on the sesh for 3 days, because apparently that's a flex these days. I did see it with that Andy Bailey. He came on YouTube for a while and he was flexing, "Oh, I've just spent 500 quid on sesh." So apparently if you can afford drugs now, it's a flex. And he was boasting about just done 2 days on sesh, and he was screaming at his mum, calling her a smackhead. It's like, fucking hell, that's dysfunctional. So I was filming the police, and I went up, started filming him, and then he spotted me and started, "Oh, you fucking sausage," and all the usual blather. And I thought to myself, "Oh, I'll upload that on YouTube and everyone can see what a knobhead you are." But then I thought about it, and I thought, well, what's the point, just for a few extra views, a few loading someone screaming and arguing with his mum. There's no point, because if he sees it, then I've just made an enemy for no reason whatsoever. So I decided I'm not going to go down that route. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to talk about the struggles I have with addiction and recovery. So I had a trigger the other day, and if you don't know what a trigger is, it's when you're in recovery. You might be 2, 3, 4 months in recovery, and it happens a lot at the start when you first get clean. You might see somebody going to score, or you might see a couple of lads with a bit of banter because they've just been to get some drugs, and you might see a little bit of foil in the sink, in the drawer, and then start thinking about drugs. And then that's when the cogs start turning. That's when you start convincing yourself that it's a good idea to use drugs, and it's never a good idea. But yeah, that's what a trigger is. And with me, I've not had one for ages, because I think I've got past that now. But this just shows you that you're never really truly in the clear. It's always going to be there, and it can ruin your entire day, because then you're at war with yourself. Like, you have to convince yourself that it's not a good idea to use. And this is why I make these videos, because I need to show people the internal struggle that we go through every single day. And it was a trigger from, I've been watching a lot of movies lately. Somebody, some lass that I've been messaging, she sent me a new movie site. And I stopped watching these illegal movie sites for probably a couple of years, because I got a new TV. And I couldn't connect my laptop to my TV. I could get the picture up, but then the sound didn't come out. And I was fucking messing about with it for ages, and I just gave up on it. So movies is my true passion. I love movies, I always have. I'm a proper movie geek. I've been to all the Comic Cons and met people, all the actors, and got their autographs and all that. So yeah, I got back into watching movies, and I watched, I've had like a little binge lately. What did I watch? Like a catch up. I watched, I can't remember what it's called now. Heretics. Really good horror movie. I love horror movies. It's Hugh Grant, about these couple lasses coming to this house, these Bible bashers, and it's all like a metaphor for religion and all that, but it's a really good horror movie, and I would suggest going in blind if you go and watch that. But yeah, I would recommend Heretic. And then I watched another one called Trap, that Shyamalan guy, which it was an alright movie, but then towards the end it got a bit silly. But I enjoyed the movie. I got all the way through anyway. That's usually a good sign. And then I watched one of my favourites of all time, which I can watch it a million times and still enjoy it, Event Horizon. If you've never seen that movie, then just drop what you're doing and go and watch it immediately. It's fucking brilliant. But yeah, I was watching the movies, and then I watched one what I've been wanting to see for a while called The Ghosts of Mars, and I thought Ice Cube's in it, and Jason Statham, and I thought, well, it's a good cast, you know, it's a classic old movie, I'll watch it, and it was all right, and it got to the end, and there was a bit in it where Ice Cube's nicked this woman's brooch or necklace, whatever it is, and he pulled it out and he says this, and the movie is about a red fog, right, and it possesses people and it turns them into killers. So this red fog goes into this woman, possesses her, and then all the people in the group are like, oh, she's gone, she's finished, she's possessed, let's get her out of here. So they throw her out, and but when they kill one of them, the fog comes out of them and goes into somebody else. So anyway, she's got this fog in her and it's possessed her. They throw her outside, he pulls this bracelet out, or this brooch, and he says, oh, what's this? I got it off her, I stole it off her. And he says, oh, that's a drug stash. So they pulled the drugs out and put it in her mouth, and that's when it started, you know. I got triggered then. I was like, oh man. And I started thinking about popping some Valium, and you know, it wouldn't hurt if I just had a few Valium and everything would be all right. And that's when I started going to war with myself. And then in the movie she had these drugs, and it got rid of the possession, and the smoke came out of her. but yeah, that's what triggered me, and that's what got me thinking about it. And like, I'll explain how I got off of heroin to begin with, because at the start, when you first get clean, that's when the triggers are more active. Like I say, I've not had one for ages. I thought I was past that, but apparently not. But when I was a heroin addict, I was a heroin addict through the early 90s for years, you know. I couldn't get out of it. I don't know why. I look back now and I think, why didn't I just get away? Why didn't I just do my detox and stop doing it? But I just couldn't. I was caught up in it. I was stuck in it. I couldn't get out of it. And I remember buprenorphine had just come out, which I tried everything to get off heroin. Methadone, DF118s, I tried cold turkey, I tried going to a caravan in Skegness and detoxing there. And it's all good and well, but if your heart's not in it, you're not going to get clean. That's why people say it has to come from them. You can lock them in a prison cell, you can lock them in a room, and yeah, they'll get clean while you've got them locked up, but as soon as you let them out, they'll rush off and score. And it's so frustrating for me, because I get messages all the time from concerned parents, school teachers, you know, some of my mates are worried about the kids might be using. I'll get, you know, distressed messages, people saying, look, my son or my daughter's on heroin, she's going away at 3 days at a time, she's stealing off everyone, what can I do? I need to, you know, I'm at rock bottom here, I'm at the end of my tether, what can I do? And it's frustrating for me, because I want to give them the right answer, I want to give them the solutions, but I can't, you know, there's nothing you can do. All you can do is ride it out and wait for them to get ready to do it. And then when they're ready to do it, just support them then, but up until they're ready to do it, there's nothing you can do. And it's frustrating for me. But yeah, when I first got clean from heroin, the one thing that worked for me was Subutex, buprenorphine. Nothing else worked but Subutex. And that's what I'm on now. It's I'm on the last little bit, which I'm going to have to come off soon, which I'm absolutely dreading, but I know I've got to do it. But yeah, the first time I got clean was with Subutex, so I would definitely recommend it. And Subutex it's like a blocker. It blocks all the receptors in your brain, so that if you use heroin, it doesn't do anything. So it takes away the temptation. That's why when I did my last detox off of alcohol, Valium, Xanax, pregabalin, gabapentin, and crack, I did it cold turkey, but I stayed on the Subutex because I didn't want the temptation. I knew that I could use heroin to help me if I wasn't on the Subbies. That's why I stayed on them. But anyway, the first time I got clean from them, and the only real success I had getting clean, was when Subutex first came out, and my probation officer, he was a foreign bloke, and he says to me, he says, oh, we're going to try you on Subutex. He was a funny guy, you know. And he says, well, I don't think you're going to do it. I said, I don't think you're ready, Mr. Paddy. And that like lit a fire under my ass. I says, right, you fucking prick, watch this. I'm going to do it now just to prove you wrong. And that's because I'm stubborn like that. And But he didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't know how to take it. He didn't have a clue, and nobody really did back then because they'd just come out. And I said to him, all right then, well, what have I got to do? And he says, well, all you have to do is wait, have your gear last thing tonight, go to bed, wake up, go to the chemist, and have your Subutex first thing in the morning. So I'm like, oh, yeah, nice one, brilliant. But it don't work like that. You have to go as long as you can because Subutex, it's got blocker in it, so it forces you into withdrawal. If you're on heroin and you just have Subutex now, it'll just throw you into a brutal, because it's like ripping it out. Yeah, it'll throw you into withdrawal. So you have to wait 2 or 3 days as long as you can, and then have them, and then it's a lot easier. But he told me to have it the next morning, so they say wait at least 24 hours, at least, but it's the longer the better. And but anyway, I only waited like 8 hours or something, so it threw me straight into withdrawal, and I was like, fucking hell, this is horrible. So I went out and scored, bought a bag, had a smoke. I've never used needles, smoked it, and it made me feel better, but it made it worse the next day, and then I had to go through it again, and it lasted longer, and it was horrible. I made it as bad as I could for myself, really. If I'd have done it right, it would have been way easier, but I always do it wrong, that's how I learn stuff. You can tell me anything, but I won't take it in until I've done it, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's the first time I got clean and got some success, and that's when the temptation is all around you. Like, that's why with methadone people fail, because they'll have methadone and you can use on top of it and it still works. So you can just have methadone in the morning and then still use through the day, so then you end up with 2 habits. So methadone, if it's done right, it's all right, but for me it's the worst detox out of them all because it's like pure heroin, isn't it? But yeah, so I've got on these Subutex, and that's when it's at your worst. That's when the triggers are there, and that's when you've got to be careful. You've got to fill your time. You need to get out. You need to do things. But it is really hard because you've lived a hectic lifestyle, going out, getting money day after day after day, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're clean and you've got 24 hours in a day to kill. And if you just have one, if you go and score, then that'll pass the time. And the way I can say it on a small scale is look at your phone. Now, if you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? You go on your phone. If you're bored, you go on your phone. So that's kind of like what heroin is. So imagine if you've got your phone, you turn your phone, it's always there, but you can't look at it. And you can hear it pinging, and you know that if you pick that phone up, you're going to be entertained. The day's going to go faster. That's kind of like what it is on a way much smaller scale. Obviously, heroin's way more powerful than that. But that's just a light example. But yeah, I got a trigger the other day, and I just started thinking about it, and then you start like feeling sorry for yourself. And this is what people don't understand. They think that when you get clean, all you've got to do is go through a 3 weeks detox, and then off you go. Everything's rosy. You've got this great new life. You're clean now. Everything's brilliant. But it's not like that. Once you do get clean, then you've got all the mental trauma. You've got all the shame, the embarrassment, knowing that you've stolen off all these people. I was a shoplifter, and I felt guilty. I stole off family members. I stole off anyone, because that's what heroin does. It turns you into someone that you're not. See, now I'm clean. I pride myself on honesty. If I found a tenner on the floor, I would hand it in. But when I was an addict, I was just a thief. I would steal anything, really. And I didn't want to do it, but it forces you into it. And then you've got all the embarrassment for that, knowing that you was that guy that used to sell bacon and cheese, and then you get people talking about smackheads, and because we have a tough time being addicts, but they're being smackheads. But what you have to understand, that's why I do this channel, because I want to show people that there's people behind that derogatory remark, a smackhead, but there's somebody behind there with a family, with friends, that's living a hell every single day when they wake up. And that's what you have to live with. You've got all the anxiety, the depression. I struggle to talk to people in general now, because I'm so used to being in prison, or so used to being on the streets with the bums and the winos, like if you throw me in with them, I'll sit and talk for hours. But you put me in with normal, decent, hard-working people, and I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know what to talk about, and I feel awkward. And then that one day, I'll be up, I'll be flying, I'll be laughing, and then the next day, I'm down, I'm miserable. I want to throw myself off a building, and I know it affects your life, because there's things what I want to do. I would love to do podcasts and things like that, go and meet people, but it's so hard because I've got anxiety, and my brain creates all the worst scenarios. It did happen the other week when I do dark side videos for a laugh, and people seem to enjoy it, and it's entertaining for me. It gets me to get a few little jokes out, and I hold people accountable. It's never anything mean or nasty. It's just like funny little jokes. And then I'm getting people messaging me saying, oh, there's someone after you, they're paying money to come and beat you up and to come and video you and all this. And then my brain starts creating things that aren't there. And I start thinking that everyone's plotting against me, and fucking Hedgehog Man's in on it and he's in on it. And it's all just nonsense. From years of being in and around that, because when you're an addict, everybody's trying to screw you. Everybody's trying to fuck you over. Even if all you've got is a tenner bag, there's somebody that wants to take that. There's somebody that's planning and plotting against you, and it affects you mentally. And that's the eternal struggle every single day. And people don't really talk about it because they don't want to seem weak. I understand it. I get it. But, I just don't care anymore. I've passed through that barrier now. And if I can make videos and somebody can watch it and get a little bit of understanding of what maybe a family member's going through addiction or alcoholism, maybe they've lost a loved one, and watching my videos might give them a little bit of understanding of knowing that wasn't them. It was the drugs, it was the addiction that was making them do that sort of thing. And maybe someone can watch and say, oh, I struggle with that as well, and they might feel better because you know that you're not alone. And that's pretty much why I make videos on here. That's why I'm not really monetized, because I don't care. It's good getting views, I'm not going to lie. I do like it when I get views. And I do like it when people like the videos and when I get nice comments, which is great. But that's not why I do it. It's the acceptance for me. People can see who I really am. I'm not just a smackhead. I'm way more than that. But anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I do like doing the dark side videos. There's a new guy come on called Andy Smith. He came to Donny, met up with Brett May, and he's got his little duvet on, and oh man, I don't mind watching him, he seems alright, but this Hedgehog Man is like doing interviews with this guy in prison, and he's saying he's not what he says he was, and he's obviously not that smart. A dead giveaway is when someone says it is what it is. As soon as they say that, I just think, oh, he's a fucking thicko. And Andy Smith did one better. What did he say now? He says, oh, you know what it is, Craig? It is what it is, mate. It's like, what does that even mean? You know what it is, mate. It is what it is. So I don't even know what that means. But anyway, that's the video for today. If you like this video, press the thumbs up. And if you're struggling with addiction, or if you know someone who's struggling, just know that that's not who they really are. It's the addiction, the alcohol, that's making them like that. And there's nothing really you can do other than be there and let them know when they're ready to get clean, when they're ready to sort themselves out, then you'll help them. And it doesn't matter how far you've fallen. I was, you don't get any lower than I was. And I'd convinced myself for years, like, I'm too far gone, I can't get clean, it's too hard, I'm on too much, I'm too fat, I'm too far gone. And that's what I kept telling myself. So that's why I stayed in that addiction for so long. But then when I finally decided I can get clean, I did. It was impossible until it wasn't. So yeah, if you like the video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Mange 2, YouTube, Mange 2.